passion in the music and thanks with Bob.
Hey, Pacho Man, everybody! 10th anniversary of Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Huggos on the Rocks. We're brought to you by HOKA, Polar, UCAN, Velofix, Normatec, Active Canyon, Form Goggles, and Puma. And we'll have our championship edition at Four Seasons Resort, Hualalai, where our next guest was with us last year. His name is Timothy O'Donnell. How you doing, Tio?
I'm all right, Bob. I'm always glad to be here. Thank you.
It's so funny. We were just chatting. You said you came off a great training block in Kansas, and the weather was awesome. Only triathletes define 100 degrees, 100% humidity, and howling winds is awesome, right?
Well, we were watching the women's marathon, the track and field world champs.
Yeah. Oh, in Doha?
Doha, yeah. and they're running at midnight, and it was 87 degrees. You know, I'm like, that's Kona conditions.
What the heck?
We don't get away till midnight.
Exactly. We're running in the middle of the day. We
Yeah.
got the sun to deal with,
Right,
as
right.
well as the heat. I love it. So you're dealing with a little injury? You got a little, what you got going on?
Yeah, so last year I broke my foot early in the year in January, and then just about 6 weeks ago I was running and I hit the edge of the road and inverted my foot and kind of re-injured that where that fracture was. But honestly, at the time I didn't think I'd be starting right now.
Really?
So, yeah, it was. It's gone as best as it really could. I've
Right.
been on the Alta G, been back on the road for a little bit, and I'm excited. I actually feel pretty good. Bike power is way up, so. I don't know. I've never thought I've run as well as I can.
No.
Here, so.
You've never, that's the one thing.
Right.
With all your, look at, you've been, we just went through it. You've been 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th. You've been all over that top 10, and I don't think you've come close to the run you're a low 240 guy.
And that's what I need to do, so I figured maybe something different in my training. Maybe
a little rest.
Yeah,
a little rest is best.
A little recovery.
I think people underestimate the Alta G and how great that is and how that can really help your running because you really have to focus.
Yeah, especially as triathletes, we do so much volume.
Yes.
We're so fit in terms of our cardio systems. It gives you that neuromuscular recruitment and just that muscle memory without all the pounding on your body. So I don't know, maybe, hopefully at 30K into the run, I'm not saying that it's not true. It's no good, but I'm optimistic.
You're a guy who, at this race, we've seen it numerous times. You're out by Javi, and you see an opportunity, and you go for it. You're not afraid to go off the front. And then last year, watching between you and Joe Skipper and Braden Curry and Matt Hansen, there was like the four of you guys were within like 2 minutes and 20 seconds between 4th and 7th place. This race has changed so much because used to be there were gaps, right? You're racing Braden Curry into the energy lab. You guys are surging on each other.
Yeah, we ran side by side almost that entire run.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. So you guys are going back and forth. And then there's two guys who are, seriously, you must have seen them when you're coming out of the energy lab. They're breathing down your guys' neck,
I didn't even realize, Bob, I was so focused
on Braden
and what we were doing that I didn't realize that, I looked at the results afterwards. I'm like, wow, those guys were right behind us.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like a two-man race at that point.
Exactly. Well, and you and Braden, had you been in a race like that where you guys are surging back and forth that late in the race?
Not for a full Ironman. 2009 ITU Long Distance World Championships. I was in that same situation on the run, but not in Ironman. That was the first time. It was a lot of fun. It hurt a lot.
Oh, yeah. It was great television, though. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what we aim to please, Bob.
So going into this race, now that you've had, you're dealing with something a little different. The goal is still to win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think every year in the last couple of years, I've realized that executing my best race will put me in a position to win, and then it's just going to take some guts, but I have to be smart throughout the day if I, even want to be considered. And I think I put myself in that right position. I executed a really great plan last year. Even running with Patrick and Braden at 10 miles, all of us running together. I just didn't put the run together that I wanted to do. But in terms of executing, I need to do that again. I need to be there. I need to be in the right spot.
The hard part is you got Patrick Lange, who is the marathon course record holder, and he comes up, and you guys are all running together, and part of you is probably thinking, okay, do I want to be going this hard this early in the marathon? But that's where the race is. You got the guy who's defending champion. You don't really want to let him go.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I got a jump on the guys out of transition, so I had maybe 25-second gap.
Yes.
And they didn't catch me until Patrick and Braden caught me at 6 miles. So they were running, 4 or 5 seconds faster a mile than me.
Right.
Not much. But I made the decision to just inch it up that little bit.
4 or 5 seconds.
Yep, at 4 or 5 seconds out of my own rhythm. And I think in the long run, that probably hurt my overall run.
Yeah.
But, like you said, you have to at least
go
give
for
it a
it.
try, right? It's the World Championships, Bob.
Yeah, exactly. I remember a couple years ago on the bike, there was a chance at Javi, and you went off the front and just took it, right?
Yeah, like you said, he went over all my results. I've been close before.
Yeah.
Obviously it's nice to continue to be close, but why not at this point try to go for it?
I mean, if you're going to be on the podium, might as well not be looking up at anybody.
Right, yeah. It's a good place to be. The air is thin up there.
The air is really thin up there. We were talking to Rinny a little bit about this, having your own little TV show, right? And being able to record Izzy's life basically from the beginning. That has to be so fun for you guys to look back at and go, this, because otherwise you would record some photos and video, but nothing like what you have.
Oh, it's unbelievable. We may be creating a monster though, because now Izzy loves the camera.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, she's posing for the camera now, like hands on the hips, and I'm like, where did she even learn this from? But it's pretty awesome. And the best part is we've had some rocky times this year. Rennie breaking her elbow.
Yes.
I crashed in March and broke my ribs, and I missed a bunch of early season races. And no matter what happens, you get home and you see Izzy, and
she could care less.
Yeah, she cares less, and then you understand that it's not the most important thing in the world, and it just makes everything a little easier.
So sometimes when you have a season that starts a little later, that's a positive, because we've seen people who are really hot in March and April, and it's really hard to hold that till October. When you have an injury like that, though, you don't want to be going through it because you want to go make some money.
Yep.
But did you feel like towards the end of the season, I feel better now because I did have time off earlier?
I think so, definitely, Bob. I mean, this will be only my third race this year. I did Ironman Boulder, I did Santa Rosa 70.3, and I had about 8 other canceled flights in there.
Oh, my God.
From races. United loves me right now.
I bet, yeah.
But, I was definitely on that track, and before I had this last little foot setback, which was just really frustrating. I felt, I did feel like, okay, this is a good spot, but there's only so much you want to be holding back, So I don't know. We'll see. But it definitely won't be overraced.
So Julie Divins, talk a little bit about what Julie brings to the table for you.
Julie's awesome. I've known Julie for a decade. We've been friends. And this is my second year training with her in Boulder. It's been so great to have her there. The energy and effort she puts into her athletes it's unbelievable. I don't think I could do it as a coach. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, she is putting probably more intention into what she's doing now, even though when she raced, and she was a fierce competitor, fierce racer. So it's an honor to have someone that's been at the top of the sport, really knows me as an athlete, and knows, obviously how to train athletes, putting so much energy into me. So
what do you look at as your best race here? Obviously, you've been here a bunch, and you've been all over the top 10. What's your best race here?
Obviously, 2015 being on the podium and kind of going off the front on the bike was awesome. But
yeah,
I mean, that was a gutsy race. I feel like last year I executed a smart race, and I think I kind of need a combination of those two this year.
Yeah,
if I really want to, I don't know, put that cherry on top.
So when you look at how this race has changed, we look at the swim times, really haven't changed that much. The run times, even though with Patrick's 2:39, I mean, it was Mark Allen ran 2:40 back in the day, and 2:41. The bike has changed significantly. How have you had to adapt to that? Because now, it used to be if you were doing a 70.3 race, if you were going 2:10, 2:15, you're right in the ballpark. And now you've got to be close to 2 hours.
Yep.
How have you had to change and adapt to that?
Yeah, no, I remember in 2000, I think it was maybe 2010, doing Oceanside 70.3, and Mikey Raylert, ran really fast, but he rode a few minutes faster than the boys. And now, the bike times on that course are probably 10 minutes faster.
Right.
It's the sport has evolved so much. And I think for me, I've been working on a lot of my position aerodynamics, getting more efficiency out of my power, and working with Julie, our cycling coach, Matt Bottrell. is kind of a time trial specialist. So, we've dialed in my position, and we've actually worked on my high end too. I'm a diesel engine. I love riding at Ironman pace.
Right.
But when you do those shorter efforts at max, those max efforts, it raises everything. When your VO2 goes up, everything else will follow. So, doing some of that shorter stuff, I think, has made me a better athlete as well.
More indoor training than previously?
I have. That's part, just because it's easy to do those quality sessions on the trainer, and
Right.
part, sometimes you just want to not be on the road.
Yeah, it's just not safe out there,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Rennie left a week earlier than me from Kansas, and luckily I had Matt Hansen out there training with me for a few more days. But the last couple of days I was by myself, and I actually just rode the trainer because I just wanted to put the bubble wrap on. I didn't have anybody there, and just wanted to be smart.
What would it mean to you to win this race?
Ooh, well, it would give me a little more credibility in the household.
Yeah, it's sort of 3-0 right now.
Right,
You're sort of hosed.
She's just sitting in the corner, kind of be like, "Come on, buddy,
come on,
let's go.
bring something." Yeah.
Especially with the field that there is out here now. You got Olympic gold medalists. You got multiple Ironman champions. It'd be pretty special just to know that I can seal a deal on the biggest day in the sport.
For a guy who started on the Olympic distance side, right, racing for the military, and then moving on and moving into 70.3, and then to this, you've had a pretty cool career. Is it a point where you can look back on it and look back at it, or is you're so in the midst of it that it's hard to look back and savor some of the things you've accomplished?
No, I think particularly this year when I did have such a hard time just getting the year together, even qualifying for Kona.
Yeah.
You start to realize you don't want to take anything for granted, even coming out here and racing in the World Championships. You don't want to take that for granted. And when you've been doing it a long time, it's hard not to. It just becomes almost second hat. So now you never know when you're going to win another race, right? So you kind of enjoy every moment, and you don't take for granted the times you had. And I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, Bob. But
I love it. No, we don't want you anywhere.
We're not on the final chapter yet, that's for sure. But I think there's a few more to write.
And we haven't had an American guy win this thing since Tim DeBoom in 2002.
Yeah,
and he's getting inducted in the Hall of Fame this year. So,
that's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's sort of good timing for another American to sort of
step it up. Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I'm in.
I love it. How about a round of applause for Mr. Timothy O'Donnell, Poncho Man? Take us out.
We got sunshine in the music and breakfast with Bob.
Poncho Man and T.O.